All right, hi everybody. My name is Tracy Davis. I am President and CEO of Trax Analytics, and this is our very first segment of Tidbits with Tracy. Hope you're liking the name tag. So today I have a very esteemed guest and also a longtime friend, Mr. Ted Kitchen. So Ted, tell us a little bit about yourself and who the heck are you?
Good to be with you, Tracy, and thank you for the opportunity to be with you. Ted Kitchens, I'm the airport director at Manchester Boston Regional Airport. About 23 years now in the industry, most of that in airport management. Joined Manchester Boston about 3 years ago after being at the Houston Airport System and the general manager at George Bush Intercontinental Airport for about 3.5 years. Before that, I was at another airport in Virginia for about 4 years, and then at Hartsfield-Jackson for about 3 years. So that's a little bit about me.
Yeah, so I have known you for a minute, and we're not going to tell people how long because I'm still telling people I'm 22, and I'm fingers crossed, I think they're believing me still. So, but I've known you a long time, and a fun fact is I still tell this story, and I think my team is probably sick of it, but you were one of the brainchildren and the vision behind us creating our Track Smart Restroom platform. And a little, people don't always know that your background in planning and ops, really came to when you asked us, hey, how do we know when to clean it? It was at IAH.
Yeah, it was. And it was, a very fortuitous event, that you had this product that was ready, you were developing, and it was ready for, some input from airport management. And we were in the market for, some feedback mechanisms, and it was just a very happy coincidence. So you were a saint throughout the whole process, because as we kept on thinking, it's wow, here's another application, here's another. I think we came up with a pretty cool tool, and it's been really fun to watch how you have taken this to a whole nother level and taken it to different industries. That always makes me feel good that we help develop something that other people in other industries are finding of value. So that's all you can ask for as a leader and as a professional.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for the support. Well, so tell us a little bit about what's going on in Manchester. What are you guys up to? How was 2020? And how are you surviving 2021? And let's stay positive because it is still early in the morning.
Exactly. Yes, the things are still unfolding themselves, right? But 2020 was obviously a challenge for everybody. But I think for us, we're seeing, and the way we view the passenger coming out of the pandemic is it's really clean is the new secure. Much like after 9/11, ushered in a new wave of safety and security regulations. We see this pandemic bringing in new thoughts, maybe not necessarily regulations, but a change in that consumer perception as to how important not only a clean but a disinfected environment. I think we conflate those two words, but they're completely different. I think clean means there's not a piece of paper in the corner. Disinfecting means there's not a germ or a virus in that corner. So I think the consumer is certainly going to place a higher value on organizations, and not just necessarily airports, but any organization that they do business with. We think they're going to look at that organization's commitment to public health as a decision-making, or enter into their decision-making process as to who they do business with, much like corporate social responsibility, diversity, equity, inclusion, and these other social causes. I think we believe consumers are going to put the public health on that main level.
Absolutely. So, a part of this is, the passengers coming through, getting their confidence back up in the facility, but also maintaining that positive atmosphere for your team. That's one thing that I've had to take a step back and look of how do you keep people motivated in a time where the world is uncertain, it's a little bit scary at times. Do you have any tips or tricks of how you're motivating your team out in Manchester?
Yeah, well, I've always tried to point them to that we're a part of something bigger than us, right? So rallying them to the purpose of an airport. The purpose of an airport is not just to move people, it's to connect the community to the global economy. So, during the pandemic, we received a lot of PPE shipments from FedEx. that ultimately went out to every single VA in the United States. I was a local business leader here, an entrepreneur that helped broker the shipments from China into Manchester by way of Anchorage. So I constantly showed and reminded the team, A, that this is happening, but B, this is the importance of airports. We turn into logistics powerhouses. And when a community needs an airport, be it after a natural disaster like after Hurricane Harvey in Houston or Katrina in New Orleans, airports play a very vital role in helping that community recover. So I think for me, it was pointing the team to that larger goal.
Absolutely. No, that's good to hear. I mean, honestly, you've been an incredible leader from day one. I've known you, as I said, for a minute or two, but it's really good to see that you carry that leadership to Manchester. And so one thing that I think is really, really interesting about your background is you have the planning side, consultancy side, airport management side. What would you say is the biggest difference from coming from, an airport like George Bush to an airport like Manchester? Your initiatives are to keep planes in the air, people going through your airport safe.
Yep.
What is the biggest difference and what are the biggest challenges, you think?
I think the biggest difference is the pace. I mean, in Houston, we were breakneck pace.
If you see a positive outlook at the very, the light at the end of the tunnel, do you see any positive changes happening? Do you feel, truthfully, just lie to me if you don't. But in the industry, do you see a light at the end of the tunnel?
I do. I'm optimistic, and aviation has faced a lot of challenges throughout the last since we started flying. Right? There's an old adage that if a venture capitalist was on the shores of Kitty Hawk, they would have done everybody great service by shooting Orville and Wilbur down. Right? But aviation's had challenges, from the get go. But just look at the 21st century here. I mean, we've had a lot of challenges, beginning with obviously 9/11, and then the financial meltdown, and then now this. But it seems like every 10 years we have a problem. I don't know if I can handle another 3 of these though before I retire. But and we've come back every single time. And even technology, right? I mean, I've been in this industry for a minute, and we've all forecasted technology to be this great economic substitute for air travel, and it's going to be the end of air travel for business travel. But all technology does is it enables conversations like this. It expands our capability to have conversations, but it doesn't take the place of us seeing each other, or because we do business with people, not Zoom, right? Think, at final analysis, it's going to take a little while for that business traveler to come back. It's not going to be the end of business travel by any stretch of the imagination.
Good. Well, that makes me feel a lot better as a business traveler.
Yes, right.
One last question. If we're going to be flying to Manchester, Boston, which everyone should be doing and immediately. All right, favorite place in all of Manchester to go to? Where would you recommend as a traveler?
For food, or just if you find Ted on a Friday afternoon?
Where would you find Ted on a Friday afternoon? That's a good question.
You would find me on the outdoor deck along the Merrimack River at the Foundry.
I love it. I love it.
Sipping on bourbon.
Preach it, brother. Preach it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Ted. Thank you for your time. I know you're busy running an airport, so we do appreciate it. So everybody, thank you for tuning in to our very first segment, and stay tuned for more segments to come.
You have nowhere to go but up after this one. So, congratulations.